Hey everybody, here we go. Game number 5. Minnesota Timberwolves, Dallas Mavericks, Western Conference Finals, NBA style, of course. Thanks so much for joining, whether you're watching now, later, whenever, hopefully not never, but welcome everybody. Thanks again for hanging out. Hope you're having a great Thursday. And for those of us that are on the Monday through Friday, and for everybody, it's almost Friday, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to say that I am so annoyed at myself for the other night with my prediction. I got it wrong. I was so mad. I picked Dallas to win. And then I just had this inkling in the back of my mind, the Timberwolves are going to get it. But, and I was going back and forth. As those of you that were on the stream know. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, they did it. All right. So the Timberwolves avoided the sweep. Okay. The dustpans got put away. Did Dallas bring their dustpans to Minneapolis? We'll have to wait and see. I am going to pull up the chart, of course, but I'm going to say hi to peeps too. Thanks for joining, everybody. Summer home. I love that star. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Hope all is well. All right. Vernon, what's going on? Good to see you. How you doing? Yes. Hello. Happy to have you. William, what's shaking? Hope everything's good on the East Coast over there for you. And yeah, people, I'm still just ugh, why didn't I learn my lesson? Go with your instinct, your gut instinct. I mean, as an astrologer, I look at the chart for the game, talking about the last game, game number 4. And I just kept saying, I just feel like the Timberwolves can win. No, but I'm going to go with Dallas. But on the plus side, for me, I did say that, Dallas was going to win game 4? Let me put up my thing here. So let's do a little recap here. Might as well do a little recap. So for game number 4, I had Dallas winning by 1 to 5 points. And then the Timberwolves did end up winning, but they won by 5. So I can give myself a little bit of credit there because I got the points right, but I got the winner wrong. So for this series, for my predictions, I'm 2-2, even Steven. So we'll see if I can get it to 3-2 tonight. And yeah, I'll pull up the chart and go through it and talk it out, and we'll see what happens. All right. I know it has been a while. Yeah, I hope everything is good. I've been rolling with the Timberwolves with the charts and stuff. Haven't done any Viking stuff in a hot second, but yeah, always good to see you. So almost summer too, but hope your spring's going well. Early summer. But yeah, good to see you. Before I cry. Oh, I like that though. Because I know the Score Northers do the Before I Die for the Minnesota Vikings. So Before I Cry, I like that name. That is very funny. That's a nice play on words there. Wolves in 7 if we just believe. I hope so. As a Timberwolves fan, I was so happy that I got my prediction wrong and that they won. As an astrologer, I was pissed. I'm still kind of pissed. But as a Timberwolves fan, oh my gosh, if they can come back and literally make history, even just push it to, game 6 and, game 7, woo! That would be so exciting. And just hypothetically, if the Timberwolves do make magic happen, and make it to the finals, they will be playing Boston. And who could then potentially show up? Potentially, even more reason to show up. None other than Kevin Garnett. Because the rumors and the rumblings, KG might be coming to this game. But that's been the rumors and the rumblings since the series started. So, as far as KG goes for the game tonight, I'm still kind of in the camp of he is going to stay firm in I'm not coming back to the Target Center as long as Glenn Taylor's the owner. Now, I heard on KFan, local sports radio here, that Jimmy Jam has landed in Minneapolis and will be coming to the game tonight. And as far as I know, unless I'm wrong, Jimmy Jam's sister is married to Kevin Garnett. They're tight. Always have been. But I feel like if Kevin Garnett is going to show up, it would possibly be in Boston and the Timberwolves could be there. So then he's like showing up for both of the teams, but not at the Target Center. But on the flip side, I mean, KG obviously knows like how much this would mean to Timberwolves fans if he did show up to this game tonight. So I haven't heard, before I started streaming, I hadn't heard any updates of any Kevin Garnett sightings. I did see that they were doing like a little pregame montage that did include Kevin Garnett in it, but no, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I hope the Wolves get it in 7. Everything is good. Oh, on his 82nd. Oh, nice. RIP. Yeah. Okay. RIP. That was very nice, though. Got to go visit. Yeah. Sorry to hear about your loss, but celebrate his life. Hopefully, have good memories. Yeah. Dude, for real, just want the role. Yeah, right. It has been a fun season. It really has been. It's been fun. And, you know, I've said that before, too, that in the grand scheme of things, like if the Wolves do lose tonight or, you know, if they don't move forward, like they've done great, like exponentially better than anybody ever expected, most likely. And we kind of, the Timberwolves kind of placed themselves like, hey, we deserve to be talked about. We deserve to be in the national spotlight here. So I think all around, round of applause there. So I'm going to pull up the chart for tonight and make a prediction here. We'll see what the stars say. So I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to pull up the chart. And I have to say this every time, just as like a reminder, as an astrologer, I have to look at the chart objectively. If I look at it subjectively as a Timberwolves fan, it gets me into trouble. So I'm going to look at it as objective as I possibly can. And this has been a really good practice and a really good learning experience for me as an astrologer too, because this series has been extremely tight. Like the games have been going back and forth. They have been very, very close. I mean, very, very exciting. But it's cool too as an astrologer to go back and see like what was the key moment, you know, or what was the key planet that had the team getting the victory that did get the victory. So I do enjoy that. And two, just before I get into the chart for tonight, back to game number 4. So as I mentioned, I did pick Dallas to win. I picked them to win by 1-5. I was wrong. The Timberwolves did end up winning by 5. A couple of things that I also mentioned during planetary pregame for game number 4, some things to look out for, was hot-headedness, somebody potentially losing their temper. I did talk about that, and lo and behold, there was at least one technical foul versus on Chris Finch. Did Rudy Gobert get a technical too? But then there was some scuffle on the court too. So yeah, some people and I mentioned too, like someone like losing their temper, maybe losing like their head in a way like that. So that kind of came to fruition. And then I also mentioned how for the Timberwolves, if they were to win that game, that the older players specifically, and obviously Anthony Edwards, I mean, we know that, or anybody that follows knows that he's the star of the Timberwolves. But I also made mention that it would be crucial for the older players to step up, specifically Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns. And they did, especially Kat. He played a great game, really stepped it up, and Mike Conley as well. So that came to fruition. And then I really think what the key aspect was for the Timberwolves winning, and I also mentioned this too, was that the part of fortune was in good favor with the planet that was ruling them. So I do think the part of fortune came in clutch there for the Timberwolves. So that's cool. So just things for me to remember moving forward and for everybody. But yeah, Bob, I knew I was going to hear this from people. I knew it. Like, I'm glad. I'm glad. As an astrologer, I'm mad I got the prediction wrong. But as a Timberwolves fan, I'm excited. And Bob, you were on the stream too. It's like, I'm still so mad that I didn't go with like my gut, like what the chart said. And then I just kept like getting this. And I said it on the stream, like in the back of my mind, like that Minnesota is going to win. But I didn't listen to it. So shame on me. Hopefully lesson learned. Hopefully I don't do that again. But yeah, so you were right. So it's very exciting. But yeah, Bob, good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. So I'm going to now pull up the chart for this evening, and I do think it's going to be another doozy here for game number 5. And for Timberwolves fans and just for everybody, because this series has been really, really fun. I hope that they win. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to share my screen here, and then we'll get it popping. I think. I hope this is the right one. Oh, maybe it's this one. I think it's this one. Here we go. All right, peeps. So, like I always do, here's the chart for this evening. We're going to walk on through it here. And yeah, I'll make a prediction on what I think is going to happen tonight. Oh, yeah. This has been a hard series. Very hard, but very exciting. All right, so game time. Obviously, Thursday, May 30th, slated for 7:30 p.m. Minneapolis. So that's what the chart is set for. Timing is very, very, very important, too. So we're going with 7:30, and that's what we're going with. So for every chart of every game of this series, it's been the same 2 planets ruling each team. It's been Mars and Venus. It's just been flip-flopped because of where the games have been played. So for tonight, Timberwolves, they are hosting. So they're represented by house number 1 over here in the sign of Scorpio. I just want to pop in the chat. Don't forget to factor in Planet X. Oh, you mean the part of fortune? It's funny that because it's not labeled as an X in this chart, but usually the part of fortune, which I do think was I'm going to talk about the part of fortune actually, but the part of fortune is usually represented, the symbol, as a circle with an X in it. It just in this on this website I'm using, it just says fortune. But that's really funny that you mentioned Planet X, because the part of fortune is a circle with an X in it. So that's funny. Very good. Maybe you already knew that too, Bob, as well. So again, for this evening, Timberwolves, they're hosting. They are represented by the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by the planet Mars. I usually go with traditional rulerships, so that would be Mars. But their modern day ruler is Pluto. So Planet X Factor Ant. I'm gonna talk about him too, because I do. I'm gonna mention. I'm gonna get to it. Yep. Very good. I like it. So for tonight, again, for the Timberwolves, they are ruled by Mars, which is over here in the sign of Aries. Mars rules Aries. So right away, I like that for the Timberwolves. And then they're also ruled by Pluto. Pluto is over here in the sign of Aquarius. So that's the Timberwolves for this evening. And then the Dallas Mavericks. I was about to say Denver. The Dallas Mavericks, they're represented by house number 7, and number 7 lands in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. So Venus is the ruler of the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Venus is right over here in the sign of Gemini, very, very close to the sun. It's called combustion. So when a planet gets within about 3 to 5 degrees of the sun, it starts to be called combust. And then eventually Venus and the sun will be at the very same degree. And that is what's known as a cazimi. That is very positive. But until that point, a planet that is combust so close to the sun kind of loses some of its razzle dazzle. All right. So Venus, that being the Dallas Mavericks, they are combust by the sun. Now, since the Dallas Mavericks are represented by house number 7 over here, not only is their ruling planet Venus there, but also the sun and Jupiter. So Venus and Jupiter are what's known as the greater benefic planets. They're kind of overall everybody's bestie. Just in this, explanation, it's different for everybody's personal chart. I'm just going to say that. So this is just a vague overview. But Jupiter and Venus are the beneficial planets. Saturn and Mars are the malefic ones, the meanies. Okay. So right away, the fact that Dallas has Venus and Jupiter, the two best planets, most positive planets, not to mention Venus that rules them in their first house. That looks good for Dallas as well. Like there's always been good and bad for both teams in the charts. So that's why the games have been reflective too. They've been pretty close for the most part. A lot of back and forth action, buzzer beater type of things too. 1-point victories, 5-point victories, 3-point victories. So very reflective of the chart as well. Grandizer, how you doing? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The planet King Gordoros from? I'm not sure about that, so I can't speak to it. But good to see you. Thank you for joining us. All right. So we got the ruling planets for the two teams. Again, good and bad for both. Venus also being combust. Yeah, it's played out positive and negatively for each game in this series. So it'll be interesting. It's always interesting to go back and see how everything plays out. But now that we have the ruling planets, I also look at the moon for every single chart because she is of the utmost importance just with pretty much everything in astrology, but especially with the timing and the winter. So if we look at the moon down here, the moon is actually in Pisces. So the moon is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune because Pisces has two rulers, Jupiter and Neptune, but the traditional ruler is Jupiter. So I'm just going to mainly talk about Jupiter. So I'm going to look to see if the moon is doing anything with the planets that rule the two teams. So the moon being in Pisces right here, it's in what's called a semi-sextile. It's about 30 degrees away from Mars. Again, that's the Timberwolves. So that's like a good thing, but it's just kind of like a little like dusting. You know, it's not anything like, whoa, the Timberwolves are going to win from that. It's just like, oh, like a little sprinkle there on like a cupcake. It makes it, you know, little tastier. Sprinkles are your thing. And then the moon also is in a very, she's not really doing anything with Pluto, the other planet that rules the Timberwolves. So, okay, for the Timberwolves, like, I don't really see the moon adding much there. I do like for the Timberwolves that the moon also rules the people too. So the moon being in Pisces here, being in the Timberwolves' fourth house, that's their home. So that's the target center. So with the moon in Pisces in the fourth house that rules the people, I mean, I don't think it's going to be any surprise that that place is going to be packed. People are going to be going nuts. I do think that the fans are going to, and their energy are going to be beneficial for the Timberwolves tonight. The Timberwolves haven't really been playing well at home, actually, but I do think that's going to be beneficial for them as well. So, another thing that's just kind of like interesting that if KG does end up showing up tonight, I do believe it's going to be because the moon is so close to Saturn. Again, the moon is timing, the moon rules the people, and Saturn represents older people, like an old all-star potentially showing up. So with the moon so close to Saturn there, that if KG does end up showing up tonight, I would say because the moon is so close to Saturn there. And also with Uranus over here, the planet of surprises and upheaval, so close to Mercury over here. Mercury is the communication planet. And for the Timberwolves, Mercury also rules their 10th house of the public, how they're going to show out to the public. So, and also not to mention that the moon is in good harmony with Uranus and Mercury, which again rule the Timberwolves' 10th house of how they're going to show out tonight. Mercury does. So if KG does show up, I could see it as like, oh, a little surprise. Everybody wasn't necessarily, we were expecting, but not expecting. And again, the moon being so close to Saturn, which rules older people. Again, he's an old, pretty much the best Timberwolves player of all time at this point. So that's just another side note there. And okay, just coming back to the chat. I didn't miss anything. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out and listening. Appreciate it. So again, it's just cool to see how everything plays out. And then for the Timberwolves too, the fact that their fifth house of games is right here, and the ruler of Aries, which is what their fifth house lands in, Aries is ruled by Mars. So Mars is right there. So I do like that for the Timberwolves as well. And yeah, we'll keep going. So I do want to touch on the Dallas Mavericks, obviously, too. So some good and bad for the Timberwolves there. Again, I do think that the crowd's going to be really important. I do think it's going to be another close game, and I think the crowd could actually come in key here for the Timberwolves tonight. And especially if Kevin Garnett does end up showing up, getting some like extra incentive, like extra juice to want to win this game, for the fans, for Kevin Garnett, for themselves, obviously. So now let's just touch on Dallas again. Let's go back to them. So again, they're ruled by Venus, and their fifth house, Dallas's fifth house of games, is right over here, which lands in the sign of Libra. Libra is also ruled by Venus. So Venus rules the Dallas Mavericks tonight, and it rules how they're going to play the game. So I'm going to look at what Venus and the moon are doing, because again, the moon's very important. The moon is working away from a square to Venus. A square, there's tension there. It's kind of, in this, the way we're looking at this now, it's kind of like bad energy with that square. However, the moon is moving away from that harshness there. But I don't necessarily like that then for the Dallas Mavericks. And another house we're going to look at for Dallas is their 10th house, how they are going to show out to the public tonight. Their 10th house actually lands in the sign of Pisces as well. So Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in the Dallas Mavericks' first house of themselves. So now the pressure could be shifted towards Dallas here. Really, all they have to do is win, and it's done and dusted. They won the series. So I think that's maybe some extra added pressure, not to mention that they are on the road now as well. So with the moon squaring the sun, Venus, and Jupiter in Dallas's first house of their body themselves, I don't necessarily like that either. But the fact that the moon is in their 10th house, that does give them some extra oomph as well. All right. So, okay. I love that the chat's I keep going back to the chat and being like, what am I missing? But all right. And that's okay. That's fine. But sometimes I feel like, am I talking too much and missing something? So again, I hope I'm making sense, and I hope everybody's enjoying, and thanks for following along. All right, so on to Anthony Edwards. I said I was going to touch on him here just in regards to the chart. And for those of you too, before I start talking about Ant a little bit, for those of you that don't know, I did mention this too in my previous streams. One thing that I find very fascinating is that both Chris Finch, he's a Scorpio ruled by Mars and Pluto, but Mars predominantly. And then Jason Kidd is a Aries, also ruled by Mars. So both of these head coaches, Jason Kidd and Chris Finch, they're ruled by Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Aries. Again, Mars rules Aries. So it's just funny how it like kind of makes sense and how it kind of all lines up. Not to mention too that for the Timberwolves, they're represented by the sign of Scorpio tonight, and Chris Finch is a Scorpio. And Karl Anthony Towns is also a Scorpio as well. So that's just kind of interesting. I wanted to make note of that. And then just mention the coaching thing too. And also Kyrie Irving and Jason Kidd have the exact same birthday. So Kyrie Irving is also an Aries. All right. So Anthony Edwards, I looked up his birthday too. Let me just look. He's a Leo, but so he was born August 5th, which is in the sign of Leo. End of July to end of August is Leo season. So Leo, right over here, all right, Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is extremely powerful, all right? So that's why I also think that Anthony Edwards is really key. But we know that, but it's also reflective in the chart too. So the part of fortune that I was talking about earlier, that's one, it's an Arabic lot is what it is. So the lots move frequently. Okay. So the part of fortune for this evening is at a very, very, very popular, very interesting degree. The part of fortune is at 29 degrees of Leo. And there is a fixed star that also is at 29 degrees of Leo. It's called Regulus. Regulus is the star. The end degrees of zodiac signs are very powerful. So, Regulus is a fixed star. It stays at 29 degrees of Leo. So, often people that have planets, their personal planets near Regulus, are often very, very, very famous. So, the fact that the part of fortune is on Regulus tonight, this is going to be a big game. And the fact that it's in the sign of Leo, and just talking about Anthony Edwards here, because he's a Leo, there's probably a bunch of other people that are playing that are also Leos that I just don't know about right now. But we're talking about Anthony Edwards. He is the star, okay, of this team. He has been. He's taken the league over as well. I don't know Anthony Edwards' personal chart, so I don't know, if he has other planets like near Regulus here at 29 degrees. We don't see Regulus, but it's at the same degree as the part of fortune, this fixed star. And Anthony Edwards being born in early August, so his sun sign is roughly kind of over here, about 10 degrees, something like that, which is not very far away from Regulus. So it's just very reflective knowing that Anthony Edwards' sun sign is near this fixed star that is so powerful. Oftentimes, again, celebrities or kings and queens, if you would look up their chart, a lot of them probably have planets by this fixed star. One person actually that is in the news today, his rising sign is very, very close, if not exactly at 29 degrees. The rising sign rules us, rules ourselves. So the person I'm talking about is Donald Trump. He has his rising sign right at 29 degrees of this fixed star that I'm talking about. So it's a very powerful energy. He's just one that I can think of off the top of my head. I could probably give you guys some other examples. I could look it up, but that's just the one, and he's in the news right now too. So that is how powerful this fixed star can be. Now, for tonight, for the Timberwolves, they are ruled again by Mars. Mars is over here in Aries. Mars is working towards a trine, which is the most pleasant, best aspect communication with planets. It's the most easygoing harmony. It's good, 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 good. Now, Mars is working towards that. It's kind of far away because Mars is at 23 degrees and the part of fortune and Regulus here at 29 degrees. But that, and again, Anthony Edwards is a sun in Leo. He's a Leo. Regulus and the part of fortune are in Leo here. Very, very close to the Timberwolves' 10th house of how they're going to show out tonight. So even though it's a team game, team effort, tonight the star has to be Anthony Edwards, has to take over, and it might just naturally happen. Like, maybe, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. But for the Dallas Mavericks, I do want to make mention that all of their planets, Sun, Venus, Jupiter, over in Gemini here, are also in good harmony with the part of fortune too. They're just in a sextile, which is not as powerful as the trine here. All right. So what do y'all think about that? I just woke up to get a drink of water, got the alert, saw you were going on, heard you say Aries, so you got my attention. Team Aries. Going to sleep after you and work tonight. Well, I appreciate you watching, and I hope work goes well and it goes very fast for you. And hopefully you get this weekend off too. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could. I just want to look up some other examples, actually. He's just the first one that came to mind. I know there's others too as well. Okay, so fixed star Regulus. I looked it up. Okay, so some celebrities that have a very predominant okay, just for example, I looked up some celebrities that have personal planets near Regulus, which again is a very powerful, like, celebrity status kind of thing. It's a fixed star at 29 degrees of Leo, which again is where the part of fortune is tonight. So the celebrities that have their north node, which is a node of the moon, the north node is the dragon head, where we are to ascend to in this life. We all have the north node somewhere in one zodiac sign at a certain degree. So a list of celebrities that had their destiny right next to this fixed star are Joe Biden, Princess Diana, Barack Obama, Martin Scorsese, Boy George, Jimi Hendrix. So, those are just a couple that popped up here as well. There's more, but just to kind of give you another example of like how powerful this fixed star is. Those are the only ones that it's kind of given me right now. I am on Astrology King too, if anybody's interested. Also Elizabeth won. Like the most reigning, monarch in Europe there. Elizabeth won. So again, just an example of how powerful this fixed star is. All right. So as far as the game for this evening, who's gonna be the winner? All right. Again, I think it's gonna be close for the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, I could see him just like stepping up and showing out even more so. I could see Kyrie Irving too having a huge game, a huge game as well. Now, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. And oh man, I keep going back and forth on this one too. I'm going to go. Okay, let's just see here. Boy George. Yeah, Boy George is super cool. I like him. No more cool music. Oh, well, we still have the music from before. So I want to pull up. And two, I think it's going to be some sort of splash victory here. Like, surprising. Maybe a buzzer beater. Down to the wire. And every game has been that way. And it's just interesting, again, that it is so reflective of the chart as well. And again, for the Timberwolves, the crowd has to stay in it tonight. And, I've said this before too, like just with teams playing, right? The crowd can't actually control anything, but they can help with the energy and the shift of the momentum and keep that going. For Dallas, a positive for them, again, is Venus and Jupiter in their first house here. Being so close to the sun, and the sun, again, rules Leo, which rules the part of fortune. But for Dallas, what I don't like for them is the fact that Mercury, which rules the Timberwolves' 10th house, they're public, the fans and such as well, is so close to coming into Dallas's first house there. But Mercury and Uranus are hidden away from Dallas. So for Dallas, the crowd, if they can stay into it, keep the momentum up here, it could be like just like too much for them in a sense. Like, whoa, like we can't even hear ourselves in the huddle here. This being Dallas, because the crowd is going crazy, going so wild. All right. Now, with all of that being said, drum roll, I love that. That's perfect. Okay, here we go. Now, before I put this up, I'm starting to have the feeling that I had for game 4, like the inkling, the thing in the back of my mind that I wasn't listening to. And now it's kind of coming again. But for right now, as we speak, all right, I have the Wolves winning by 1-6. 1-6 points tonight. Again, I do think it's going to be close. I think Anthony Edwards is the key here. The key. I mean, everybody else is for the Wolves too. Really the key. And the crowd. So if Anthony, I feel like this is a gladiator moment here. Like in the movie Gladiator, if you control the crowd, like you win. There's like a line or something in there. I'm surprised that I don't know it like word for word, but control the crowd and control your fate or something like that. You know, what Proximo, is that his name, is telling Maximus in this movie, in Gladiator. And that's part of it too, the momentum, right? The shift. So Anthony Edwards has to be Maximus tonight for the Timberwolves. He really has to control the crowd, control the game, and you get the victory tonight. And 2, yeah, have the crowd. I do think the crowd is going to be really extra beneficial for the Timberwolves tonight, even though they haven't been playing well at home. I do think that they're very, very, very important. And again, if KG does show up this evening, that is going to be like the extra that they need, that the team needs. Like the fans are going to lose it. Absolutely lose it. I'm not completely confident that KG will show up tonight just because like he just seems to be like that Taurus where they're like, I'm sticking with my decision and I will only change my decision when I am good and damn well ready. But could the momentum of it all change things? And on the flip side too, with KG, him not showing up just because he said, yeah, I'm not going back there. And, you know, if the Timberwolves do lose tonight, that's going to be like a complete buzzkill, you know, him coming back. But if the Timberwolves can keep the series going and if they could make it to the finals, I think it would be like, I don't want to say like a shoo-in that KG would show up to one of those games, but I definitely think he would show up to one of those games. I think it would probably be in Boston, but fun to watch. And again, Jimmy Jam is going to be at the game tonight. So rumors, rumblings still are going on. And if anybody has heard anything about Kevin Garnett since I started streaming, let me know about if he's going to show up or not. But I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to come back. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We'll see what happens. I'm always so nervous too. Just like, because I want to be right. As a Timberwolves fan, I want them to win. You know, it's like all this stuff, but it's just cool too to see how it all plays out and to use all this stuff, like my nerd notes and everything for each game, to use it for the future. So yeah. And I just thought it was interesting too, just circling back to game 4, how I was just mentioning like somebody like hothead, like losing their temper. And we saw that, especially Rudy Gobert. And I don't remember who he's beefing with on, I don't know if it's Luka on Dallas or whatever, but he's totally beefing. And then Chris Finch getting a technical foul. Like, all right, getting spicy there, getting hot. So, yeah. That was interesting that kind of came in. And if I could just rant about the Timberwolves just for a hot second here, people, as a Timberwolves fan, make your free throws, people. Make them. Make them. Rudy Gobert, what are you doing? Missing free throws. Rudy Gobert seriously reminds me of Shaq. Only maybe not as dominant. And it's like sometimes I'm like, how did you win Defensive Player of the Year? How was that possible? Okay. And Crybaby Cat, he was less of a crybaby this last game. And he just really had to prove, too, that he can make those threes. And he was making them. And I will give kudos, too. If somebody was listening to me from the team, or word got out, he actually drove to the hoop. Okay? It's like, thank you. When I saw that actually happening, that was great. And I think Anthony Edwards, too, I think he needs to remember, I mentioned this before. Yes, you're not a ball hog. You're not. You want to pass it around. But sometimes, dude, you gotta take the shots. Like, he's passing the ball when it's like, you need to take that. All right? So, if he can take those shots tonight, I do think that's gonna come in handy for the Timberwolves. So, yeah. Say it. I said it. All right. Double OT. That would be interesting. I mean, we haven't even seen overtime yet. So I still think, like, I don't know. I'm actually surprised that one of these games has not gone into overtime yet. I actually am surprised by that. The Wolves out. I hope so. For both. For me as an astrologer and me as a Timberwolves fan. But, yeah. The reverse chart. How the Mavs win tonight. Oh, what do you mean? I already did it. I talk about both. Yeah, I talk about both. So that's why I talk about it all, because it's like pretty much what you do is you look at both teams, you go down, you say, okay, how many yeses do I got for the Timberwolves? Okay, how many no's do I have for the Timberwolves? How many yeses do I have for Dallas? How many no's do I have for Dallas? And then kind of compare and contrast. But that's kind of what I already was doing. So sorry if you missed that, but yeah, for them, for Dallas, it's going to be like staying on their A game and not letting the crowd get in the way. But I don't know. There's just something in the back of my mind that it's like the crowd, the fans, they're going to be extra important tonight. Like that place needs to keep a rocking all night. And again, like if Kevin Garnett can show up and just give some like extra, here we go, you guys, that would be awesome. But if he doesn't show up, the crowd's still going to have to be crazy. And, I'm sure there's going to be a shit ton of people there. All the fancy, pretty people, celebrities, all the people. I mean, even normies, pretty people, they're all going to be there. That place has to stay rocking all night. The momentum has to stay up. Again, Anthony Edwards is key here. And I just think that, too, if he can keep pushing, Anthony Edwards, he can keep pushing and leading this team, especially with the part of fortune right smack dab on the fixed star Regulus, which is again extremely powerful. That's gonna be key. And the moon is making unharmonious energy, or she's kind of like moving away from unharmonious energy with the planets that rule Dallas. But again, for Dallas tonight, they have Jupiter, the greater benefic planet, and Venus, the lesser benefic planet, the two best planets right in their first house, supporting them tonight as well. But again, those are kind of getting a square from the moon. And I do think Anthony Edwards, and I do also think an older player for the Timberwolves, like Mike Conley, he has been very, very crucial too. So with Saturn ruling elderly, old people in time, and like the karmic teacher, but with older people, I do also think that Mike Conley could potentially be like a big star tonight as well too. Like Ant leading the way, Rudy, Cat, get in there. Quit crybabying. And Dallas does it too, okay? if I can just rant just about all of them, can we see a player get called for a foul without them crybabying about it? I actually think Mike Conley takes them, and I think Naz Reid is okay at it. But like with Luka too, like the Oscar goes to I never foul. Snooze. Okay, shut it. And with Karl Anthony Towns, literally every time. It's like, dude, it happens. Get over it. Anyway, so. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it's cool. No worries. All right. So, people, any final thoughts here? What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 6:50. Has Kevin Garnett made an appearance yet? I'm going to check Twitter before I go. But it's been cool. Thanks again for hanging out, everybody. I'm excited for the game tonight. As a fan, I hope it continues. And you know what? If the Timberwolves do up and loose tonight, if they shit the bed and it goes quiet at Target Center, you know what? It was still a good season. Still a good season overall. Oh my God. No. There's an active shooter in Minneapolis. What? If anybody's in Minneapolis right now watching this was like 40 minutes ago. 6 people shot in Minneapolis, including 2 police officers. Suspect down. Whoa. That was 5 minutes ago. I just went to Minneapolis because it was trending on Twitter. Shit. It was near... Okay, it was in South Minneapolis. Not right near the Target Center, but... Whoa. Wow. That's awful. Oh, no. Voristic Adrian. Thank you. That was very nice. Yeah, for the Viking season, it's right around the corner. Right around the corner. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited too for JJ too. And it's like, oh yeah, he's so great now. Perfect. But it's exciting. I'm glad that the Vikings finally turned the page. I mean, anybody that knows me, I was waiting for Pizza Ranch Boy to go. So bye. Later. So yeah, it's exciting. But yeah, all Timberwolves right now. And 2, oh my gosh, people, I wanted to start the stream with this and I didn't. The women's professional hockey team in Minnesota won the championship last night. Woohoo! So the ladies can actually get it done for Minnesota. Okay. Somebody had tweeted that, just like leave it to the ladies in Minnesota to just get the victories. And it's like, yeah, clearly. Okay. Our hockey team, our women's hockey team, and the Minnesota Lynx. They've been the ones to bring the championships to Minnesota as of late. So Timberwolves, your turn next. All right. Yeah, I know. That's too bad. It's just like you go to Minneapolis and it's just, I hope everybody's okay. That is scary as hell. Ugh. It's just, and it's sad that I don't want to spiral down this path, but it's sad that it's like another day, another incident. Like, it's so sad. It's just terrible. I'm glad that there's no reports of anybody that has perished, but still, 6 people shot, 2 police officers. I guess again, the suspect is down. So, 1 police officer died, another critically wounded in shooting. Ugh, God. Awful. Terrible. 28 years old. The other in critical condition. That's just sad. And it's just like there's bigger things too than sports too. Yeah. Ugh, that's just so sad. Wonder if they will I don't know, actually. That's a good question. They probably should, but I'm sure that they won't. Yeah, this was all right. Yeah, that's so sad. That sucks. It was in the Whittier neighborhood. So if anybody's watching in that area, you don't know about it. All right. Apparently the suspect is down according to Twitter, but yeah, probably still not safe to be over there. Oh no. Just awful. Just awful. You know, why can't we all just have fun, do stuff? Nope. Nope. Can't do that. Man. Yeah, what a damper. I mean, on the stream, yeah, but just in general, that's just terrible, you know? Yeah. But there's more important things too. In the grand scheme of things, there's more important things than sports too. Like, I mean, it just is. It's life too. So, yeah. Man. World will forever. I know. Yeah, it will. It will. And there's like good, it's good and evil, right? Good and bad, positive, negative. Got to have both. It's just why can't it just be all good? Why? Ugh. Insert Nancy Kerrigan voice. Why? But for real, it just seems, it just doesn't. But that's the world we live in, which is sad. It's sad. Yeah, people. Yeah, I hate it too. I hate it too. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I hope everybody else stays safe too. Yeah, like stay safe. And sometimes it's, for the civilians that were just walking down the street, what else could they have done? What do we all need? Like those Pope mobiles, with the bulletproof glass. Can't even walk down the sidewalk, walk down the street, whatever. I mean, kids can't even go to school. Yeah. So, anyways, and yeah, like Grandizer said, it's hard to turn the page now, but I mean, there's more important things. Life, maybe, if the Timberwolves do win, it could bring some like positivity to the city now with this shit, but it's not worth it. Now, 2 civilians have died now. That, like, no, they're not going to come back. They can't come back. No, they should actually, at this point, they should cancel the game. They should postpone the game for this evening. They should. Like, no. Like, they should actually cancel the game. Postpone. Actually, did they postpone the game? No. I was looking on Twitter again, and it said starts tomorrow at 7:30, but when just trying to go to Twitter to see if there was any sort of Kevin Garnett sighting, but yeah. And for the game tonight, can't even really turn a page, but Derek Lively's going to be back for Dallas, all right? But yeah, what a freaking buzzkill. That is just so sad. Those poor people. Just trying to freaking have a little walkabout. Have a little walkabout, living your life, doing your thing. Nope. Actually, you can't just walk down the street. No. Awful. But two, whatever. I don't even, yeah. That's just too bad. All right. Yeah, good energy for everybody. Yeah. So unfair. Yeah. And it's just like you want to, hopefully there's hope and it gets better, but it's just like seems so bleak. And yeah, those lives they're gone. They can't come back now. Trying to live your life on a Thursday. No, can't do that. So that's just really terrible. And yeah, some sort of like energy shift, good energy, positive energy. finding some sort of healing, peace in the future, in the grand scheme of things. It's just like, how is that even possible though? For the families and friends of these people that have perished. It's like, yeah, it's so unfair. Unfair. Not right at all. You light a candle daily. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yes, that is a very good idea. Lighting a candle, praying for peace, putting good energy out into the world. That's how we can do our part, I guess, as individuals, right? Just trying to focus on the positive and the healing and peace and love. All right. Some people are like, oh, it's so hippy dippy, but that's literally what it's all about. Like the love frequency, positivity, and it's hard to do that too with shit being so fucked up and happening, right? People getting shot in the street and whatever. I mean, but it's not like it hasn't happened before, unfortunately. We hope that it never happens again, but you can hope and pray for that, right? And that it gets better. So, all right, people, what do we think? All right. It's kind of dire, but that's the reality too, the situation too. So light the candles, set the good energy, healing. And yeah, seriously, just like the peace and love and the positivity out there. Because if it's not that, it's the other. So we want to put more of that out and just do the best you can and just all the time. And yeah, just not fair. So, all right, Mars, what's going on? Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, everything. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's what do they say? Que sera, whatever will be type of thing. But it just seems very unfair. And it's another tragedy too. So, man, heavy one, and very close to home here, but just for everybody too. It's just, yeah. So, yes, yeah, we like it though. We like it. Yeah, thanks. Right. That's you have to. Otherwise, like that would mean that all hope is lost then, right? So, yes, want to have hope for humanity, and yeah, just try to do our part and be good and have the good energy. And yeah, even if somebody pisses you off or whatever, just we don't know what they're going through either. So, just try to put your best foot forward, put your best self out there, and try your best. That's all we can do, right? So, oh, thanks, Brittany. Good to see you, girl. Thank you. Yeah, we like the hearts up in here. So, all right. Well, almost an hour in, and just trying to, but it's good to be aware too, like that the shit's going down, and shitty topics, they also need to be talked about as well. And like, can't ignore that because it's an issue, a systemic issue. And like Mars said there, just have faith in humanity, light the candles, put out the positive energy, and pray for healing, and just stay on the love frequency as best we can. All right. So, on that note, everybody, it was very good to talk to everybody. And it was good to be here. And I did enjoy the astrology and doing that for the game. So that's positive. But like we said, there's always pluses, minuses. There's always good and evil, positive and negative. And we'll just keep moving forward as best we can. All right. Yeah, Brittany, good to see you. Tell Gabriel hi too. Or if he's by you, hi Gabriel. Hi Brittany. So yeah, thanks for joining. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, no, for sure. Go back to bed. Starting to get hot here. The heat drains you. Yeah. Everybody try to stay safe. I appreciate that. I have my fan going too. So yeah, try to keep it cool, people. And yeah. So hopefully the game still goes on tonight. I think it will. Hopefully it's a good one, but can't forget about what happened either because it's very important. But yeah, not insensitive at all. Appreciate you joining. I appreciate everybody joining, clicking, clickety clacking, liking, and seriously, every little like helps. Every even just clicking on the video helps. Just hanging out, I really enjoy that. I like that everybody, seems to be interested in the astrology. I just like to kind of share what I see too. And as an astrologer and a Timberwolves fan, I hope they win tonight. I hope I get my prediction right. But if I don't, I don't. It happens, and I'll be mad about it and pissed about it. But I try to learn from each of the charts I do for the next one too, because it's all about patterns too. The planets, they move in patterns. So just looking for the right pattern, I guess. So, all right. Last thing. That is a nice oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you. I like this one. It's got some interesting sleeves on it. I do like the color green. For Timberwolves fans too. Green, blue, some of our colors. So why doesn't everybody wear green and blue? Okay? There better not be a whiteout tonight at the game either. Because I just don't think that plays out well for the Timberwolves or the Vikings for that matter. And people, it's just another way for them to make money, the owners to make money, because they want you to buy the merch. All right. So, that being said, wear the blue and the green tonight, people. Wear your old school Timberwolves gear, KG jerseys. And if I had to say yes or no on it, if Kevin Garnett is going to show up tonight, I'm like 51% no, 49% yes, but leaning more towards no. If the Wolves do extend the series and they make it to the finals and it's Timberwolves in Boston, I think no doubt in my mind, I think Kevin Garnett would go to more than one game. But tonight, and if KG does show up, that'll be an extra boost for the Timberwolves. And if KG does show up, I do think he will be sitting next to Jimmy Jam or very close to Jimmy Jam and very, 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 very far away from Glenn Taylor, the owner of the Timberwolves. So, all right. Good. All right. Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, definitely tell him I say hey. Oh, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. I have been told that green is my color, but I also love wearing green. I pretty much wear like green and black predominantly. But thank you. I got it at like I think it might be vintage or older, but yeah, I like the cut. It's kind of like old school in a way, but thank you. I appreciate that. And it's got very thin fabric, so it is not super hot. But stay cool, everybody. Have a good night. And again, let's just try to do our best and be our best selves. Easier said than done sometimes. And I know it is for me, but try to stay positive and just keep it moving and do the best we can. All right, everybody? I'm going to peace out. And two, if the Timberwolves do win and the series keeps going, I do plan to do planetary pregame for every game of the series. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I have been doing. So maybe I'll see you Saturday night as a Timberwolves fan. And tonight as an astrologer. I hope that is true. But if not, I'll just see you next time, everybody. All right. Thanks again for joining, peeps. You're the best. Take care. And until next time, everybody.